What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today, right after school, I went straight to the salvage yard to pick up two parts that I ordered yesterday with Diego. And we got there about 4:30, so they told me to come back tomorrow. This place has to pull it. They have to pull the parts. They don't allow free roam. Some junkyards don't allow you to just walk around freely. So yeah, we didn't get any footage, but yeah, I picked up two parts. One for 2001 and one for my 1995 Civic. So I didn't get a bumper cover, unfortunately, but I did get this nice fender, which is gonna be great for replacing this one down here. And the other thing I got was a instrument cluster. Now this instrument cluster hopefully fits in my 95 Civic. Not 100% sure that these clusters are interchangeable. The DX is a base model. It doesn't come with a tack. This is a tack. It shows your RPMs. And but I have a standard transmission, and this is automatic gearing right here. So you know, I hope that doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, there's a small chance there's not the same wiring. Hopefully it's not the case though. Hopefully I can swap these out smoothly. So yeah, man. Also, my 95 has a problem. See, now the reason I was in the market for a new cluster is not only because of the tack, but also because I can't see my miles per hour on the 95 Civic. That's right, the cluster is broken. It does not read my speed. I'm thinking it's a soldering issue, which I could just bust out the soldering gun, but I wanted a tack, so I figured might as well replace it. And yeah, man, so it does read my engine temperature and it reads my gas, but it just does not tell me my speed, no matter if I smack the dashboard or not. So yeah, man, so I'm gonna get this fender up and we'll start messing with the cluster. Now, if you look here on the rocker panel, it's kind of rotted out, so I have nowhere to thread the bolt into, so I'm gonna have to figure something out on how I can keep the lower part intact, but it's still way better than this one, so this is junk. All right, so the fender's completely mounted up. I got all the bolts in there that I could, but down here, since the rocker's rusted out, I don't have anywhere to place the bolt. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna attach this bottom part so it's not just flapping in the wind. Yeah, so like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to stay on there. And that's all that matters. So, new fender on there, it looks way better. Now we just need a bumper cover and this thing's ready to be sold. All right, now let's get to installing this instrument cluster. All right, since we're gonna be working around wires, I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery. Okay, so the first steps in this removal is to disconnect the cable for the hazard lights. This thing just pops up and then the cable disconnects. And then there's two screws down here that need to be removed. Literally just a little maneuvering with my flathead and this thing just pops right up. You just pull this cable off. Besides disconnecting, I'm gonna push that under the cluster, then I'm gonna start removing these screws. Something I found pretty interesting was there was no screw on this left thread. So maybe somebody's been in here before and messed with something, and now that's why the speedometer doesn't work. Interesting. Once that's removed, you should be able to stick your flathead in between these plastics right here and pull this bezel off, which will expose the clock cable, and then disconnect that cable and it should all come out. All right, so yeah, you just stick your flathead right in between these plastics and this should want to come out. So let me make sure I have every clip disconnected by just wedging the screwdriver in between each spot. Once you're pulling on stuff like this, you really want to do it gently. You don't want to break anything. See, as you can see, that cable right there, just go ahead and disconnect that one too. So now that I've taken out each Phillips screw, this thing pops right out. It's a tight squeeze. I don't want to damage anything, so I'm going to use two hands. Now that I've got it at an angle is I can get behind here and disconnect this cable as well as this one up here. Out with the old and hopefully in with the new. So unfortunately, I did not find another cable that would make sense to plug into this green port. So I don't know, I'm kind of unsure. I don't think this is really I don't think all the lights are gonna work. Worst case scenario, we might have to buy an adapter. I might have to go to Walmart and buy an adapter, and hopefully I can figure something out. But I'm gonna start reassembling and see how far I can take this. Plugged in all 3 cables, and now I'm gonna turn on the car and see what response I get. Okay. See, the reason my check engine is on because my throttle body's disconnected, and that's also why the car sounds like that. So don't worry about that. But look at that. I have revolutions. That's so exciting. All right, so only thing to do now is see if my speedometer changes. All right, so the only logical thing I can think to do is take this thing on a little drive and see if I can get any speed to show up. Hopefully when I take off, it shows it. Mind you, I'm gonna have a check engine because my map sensor is disconnected right now. Unfortunately, it did not work, which tells me that it's most likely the speed sensor cable. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, we knew we were gonna swap this. Knew I was gonna swap this cluster. So it doesn't make change anything really. At least I have revolutions. So that's pretty cool. Also, I wonder if my engine temperature works. So yeah, not the end of the world. Just tells me I'm probably gonna have to replace the vehicle speed sensor. All right, so I'm gonna finish up this swap and clean everything up, and then we're gonna move on to the vehicle speed sensor cable and figure out why it's not reading my speeds. So this 30-year-old plastic is so fragile. It was just breaking apart. So looks like my AC exhaust fan is out of commission, but that's all right. It's not that big of a deal. It still blows air. I now have my new cluster in. It looks great. Time to test out. Still gonna have that check engine light. So as you can see, right now I'm idling at just under 1,500 RPMs, 1,400, which is insanely high. And mind you, I do not even have a duct on. All my hoses are disconnected. My map sensor is disconnected. That's why. But yeah, man. Habitat cluster, awesome. Now it's time for a head gasket.
Don't keep going, pretty boy. pretty boy.